What's poppin', my Freeform Renegades? You are tuned into the Freeform Network. Thanks for joining us for another fun episode from Freeform Radio. My name is Noel, and I'm with the co-host Daniel.
Yes, sir, man. Got up a little late today. Actually slept in a little bit, so feeling refreshed and ready, man.
Very nice. And we got our other co-host Andy.
Again, Andy. I woke up early, not as early as Dan though, but it's been a hectic morning, and I'm glad I'm able to jump on and we'll get this rolling, man.
For sure, we're glad to be together again for another one. It is a beautiful day here in Chicago. We've been having some nice weather, but wherever your listeners are, we hope you're relaxed and feeling good. We're going to jump into the week here with Daniel's update on Kingdom Come Deliverance. Give us your take on that, Daniel.
Yeah, man. This is an older game. I'm not sure if it was even on your radar, Noel. I'm not. I know you're not too much of a gamer anymore, Andy, but yeah, this is a 2018 game that came out. Action role-playing game. It's made by a company, or the developers called Warhorse Studios. Develop Deep Silver. So yeah, this is like in the Roman Empire days. Knights and stuff like that. Bunch of wenches and stuff, Andy.
Like those
But yeah,
names,
yeah,
wenches.
yeah. Uh-huh. But yeah, man, it's a really cool setup, kind of like The Witcher 3 was. So it really, spoke to me, and I picked it up on Black Friday because it was like $20. So I picked it up, finally had a chance to boot it up, especially because they just released the PlayStation 5 patch, which brings it to 60 frames per second and cleans up the graphics a little. So it seemed really interesting. It looked like right up my alley. I played it for maybe about 3 hours and I had to put it down. I could not get into it. More so just because of the realism that the game forces you to do. You got to eat to stay energized. You got to go to sleep. Otherwise, you start getting like lightheaded and start fainting. So it's very much like in realism. Even the combat, when you play games
I
like
mean,
Witcher 3 or some other
there we
action
go.
heavy games, um, those you could just swing your sword and hit the guy like 10 times and then he finally dies, but you're hitting him with the sword like 10 times and then he finally dies. In this game, if you get hit like two or three times with a sword, you're dead because I mean you're getting some deep cuts and it's you're starting to bleed. If you fall off of a somewhat high cliff, like 10, 20 feet tall, you'll break your legs, and so you have broken bones. So you have to go find the doctor, get them fixed, stay in bed, recuperate, and it's like this like real life almost simulator, but in night times. It was cool. The graphics were cool. It did call me at first, just even though that it was like really super realism, it was interesting, but I just couldn't get the combat. Either I suck at it or I don't know. It's totally a possibility, but I could not defend myself. I could not kill people. It was like very difficult because the other thing, even with the action, you have to angle your sword to hit the person in their weak point. So if the knight you're fighting has their sword to the left, then you have to swing on their right side. And they're so quick to react based on your movements that it's really tough. I mean, you have to build up your stats to become quicker, faster. And it was just really, really difficult. Um,
Is the mechanics of it then is the hard to kill, or is it like a gameplay thing? Like you're saying, you have to build up stuff. Like it's just the way it was controlled, the sequence to kill somebody with the sword.
Yeah, a lot of it is the mechanics. More and more games are becoming more advanced, and it's not just hit the action button to hit things. There's parries, there are defenses, and to be honest, I kind of suck at those. I've been trying to play like those real famous games that are, or the real popular games right now. Um, where you have to parry at the exact moment. You have to wait for this timing. You have to look at your enemy and see that he does a light attack, a heavy attack, a light attack, and then defend yourself and then wait for the opening. I'm starting to like those less and less. And I think it's just because I'm getting older and it's tougher for me to play at a high level like that. I want to just get in there, have fun, and I'm just being honest. I mean, I'm getting
Sound
older
like
at
me,
these
man.
games. Yeah, I know. So it's not fun, but man, the atmosphere looks cool. I really want to play it, but I just couldn't do it. But yeah, to your original question, Andy, it is the mechanics, I think. It's that you have to do all these key sequences in order to just get a strike in on your enemy, because getting two or three strikes on an enemy, or even receiving two or three strikes, kills you. So I'm there trying to defend myself and I'm trying to wait for an opening. I'm trying to time it. I see his guard to the left, so I hit to the right, and then I don't hit him because he reacts. And then he attacks me. So then I try to guard and protect myself. And it was just like over and over again. I must have died like 20 times. And then finally I'm like, you know what? I'm not having fun. I'm done with it. I'm gonna put it down. I'm like, I need a cheat code. I need Game Genie. I need something, man. I can't play this game. It's
Game
just too
Shark.
much. Or even if they had like a dummy setting where like, all right, you just want to do the story, you know, because a lot of games do that nowadays. They'll have story mode, easy, medium, hard. And sometimes I do because I'm like, I don't got time. I got a family. I work. I just want to go and have fun. So sometimes I will put it in story mode just so that the combat's easier and I'm just trying to get the story and go through the motions. But yeah, I did not like it. Maybe I'll go back to it. Not sure. I know right now there's a newer game that just came out, Desert something, that's supposed to be really popular and supposed to be in the Witcher vein, but that looks a little more approachable. Not really sure. But yeah, I think I'm gonna put this one down. It's just gonna be a purchase that I didn't get anything out of. Did you hear about this, Noel? Were you interested in this game at all?
I've heard of it before, and there's a few YouTube gamers that I watch their channels every so often, and they did showcase this. And from the gameplay, I didn't really feel like it was like for me. I think me and you are accustomed to certain like combat style things like God of War, Assassin's Creed, Devil May
Right.
Cry. Like it's an action, kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing, and it's just easier to play, and it's fun with the story. But yeah, when I saw Kingdom Come, I'm like, I don't think it's gonna be that straightforward with the combat, so it's not for me either, man. I don't think I'll pick this one up at all. And then the one you mentioned, the desert one, I think, are you talking about Crimson Desert?
Yes, yes. Man, that looks pretty cool. I saw some reviews because it just came out last week, and that looks very interesting. So maybe this Black Friday that'll be on sale and maybe pick that one up. But I don't know. I don't know if it's how its combat goes because I'm really not liking those super challenging combat games.
I think it might be one of those,
Uh,
but I'm not entirely sure. Actually, who we should ask is Afrin. I think I saw him playing that recently. I'm not sure if you picked it up or got a demo or something, but um, also, I think just in general, that game is one of those games you're gonna put a lot of hours into, but there's not supposedly like a big story to it. It's just kind of exploration and maybe some smaller stories here and there, but nothing like grand overarching thing.
yeah, I think so. From the little bit that I read into it, Crimson Desert, the story is not the greatest, but it's all the other action components around it. Supposedly there's like it's a based on knights and witches and wizards and stuff like that. And there's wrestling mechanics in it, Andy. You might be surprised to hear, but you could do tombstone pile drivers on guys. You could do suplexes. You could do RKO's on enemies. And this is like medieval times, and you're just running up to a guy and just doing an RKO out of nowhere. Um,
Who made this? Take THQ or
I
2K?
know, probably the old guys, the Ukes or whoever used to do the WWE games. But yeah, that seemed really interesting and really cool. The graphics look really crisp and nice. Obviously, if you're playing on a high-end PC or maybe like on Noel's PS5 Pro. Uh, but yeah, maybe I'll play that game. But for Kingdom Come Deliverance, I just don't think it was my cup of tea. So ended up putting that aside and ended up playing this next game that I want to talk about, Hi-Fi Rush. Now, this is another older game, came out in 2023. Um, it was originally just for Xbox. It was one of those like Xbox exclusives because it was made by Bethesda Studio. So stuck over there for a while. Then now that Microsoft has kind of let the walls down a little bit and migrated some of their games over to PlayStation, this is one that I saw and I'm like, oh, this looks pretty cool. It's like a rhythm action game type of thing. The entire world is always in a rhythm and a beat. So you see things gyrate based on the beat of the song. You see things light up based on this is the bass, this is the treble, this is this. And so the world is like constantly at a beat. And even the motion of the character is also on a beat. His footsteps, his movements, it's at the beat of the song that's playing in the background. And every level is a new song. So as you're playing the levels, I think there's 12 of them. There's like a different song playing, more actiony punk music. But as the songs are playing, these beats are hitting, and you get more points and action hits if you hit on the beat. So it's not just hit the action button as much as you can, it's hit the action button as the beats are hitting. So when I first started playing the game, I actually had to tap my foot as the beat is hitting so that I can correlate my foot stomp to the button press because I had to train my brain to not just mash on the action button. And so as I'm playing, I'm just like, I'm just hitting the beat, boom, 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 and then that's my action hit. Boom, hit it, swing the guitar, hit, and it was really cool, man. It got you into a really cool beat, got into the songs a lot, got into the rhythm. The game, after every level, gives you a grade telling you how much you were on the beat or how much you weren't. So this was definitely a lot more up my alley. This is something that was very much action and platforming, but definitely a lot more forgiving. Now, there were some challenging parts where there was different button combinations that you had to press at the beat, and those were pretty hard. So I had to lower down the hardness on the forgiveness on if you missed a beat. But yeah, man, this was pretty cool. Ended up beating it yesterday. While Alana was watching me play it, she's just like, "Yeah, this doesn't look like you would like it, because it looks really cartoony, cel shaded." But it was the action and the music that was really cool and really kept me interested through the whole game. Is this something you were interested in, Noel, or did you even know about this game?
I did know about it, not as much as, what you just described, but I knew it was made by Shinji Mikami's studio,
Mm,
Tango Gameworks.
right.
Shinji Mikami, who made Resident Evil, Evil Within, stuff like that. And yeah, I heard he wanted to get away from horror and move into like a different direction for a wider audience. And yeah, so it looks like this game is pretty good. I was a little questionable on it. I was like hesitant to get it. I might end up getting it down the line now that you kind of give it a good review. But yeah, it seems like a different kind of game than what they would typically make.
For sure. And I think the studio is actually closed now. I don't think they're open anymore. Tango groups, anyways. Um, but yeah, man, this is a rhythm game. So if you're into the Guitar Hero sort of things, button presses based on a beat or the way the song is progressing, very cool. Not a great game by any stretch. Don't go out there and flock and pay $40 because I think this is one of those budget or games that are like I think when it first came out it was like $50, and I ended up picking up for like $15 or $20, and it's definitely worth that price range. So yeah, definitely a cool game. Glad I played it and beat it. Um, now I'm currently playing a classic game, so we'll see if that keeps my attraction and keep moving forward on that. But yeah, let's jump over to the last thing that I want to talk about. Andy, you're a homeowner. I was thinking about solar panels. I've been on and off about solar panels as soon as I became a homeowner, and it's been something that I was a little interested in. And more as the price of electricity keeps going up, I'm like, man, is this something I should invest in for the future? Something where in 20 years I'll get good dividends back from, and it'll be worth the effort and the money. So I've had people come in and give me quotes before. I just recently got in a guy a couple weeks ago came. We spoke about it. Was interested, but like everything I told him, it made me think about it some more. And I'm a huge thinker with big purchases. I don't just go out there and buy things. I usually try to research it. Is this anything you were interested in, Andy, for your house? I know you have a couple homes.
No, I'm not, man. I know they were really making a push a couple of years ago. But the more and more I read about it, especially now, um, I don't know if they claimed it that adds value to the house, but I'm reading that people who have them, and then when they try to sell the house, it's a big thing that people looking for homes they don't want.
Really? Okay.
And and then the other thing, people like it's like I don't want to say an eyesore, but they just don't like that. And then there's issues, some other issues, but and then a lot of people, I saw some videos, people said the benefit that they're saving is not that great. And they're just kind of like not stuck with it, but they do have regrets about buying or getting the solar panels on there. To me, if it was really how I look at it, if it had a lot of great benefits, more people would be doing it. But I mean, you see them. The other day I was driving somewhere, I think it was yesterday. I think I saw two houses with solar panels, and I'm like, I thought about you because we had this discussion, and I'm just like, yeah, that kind of sums it up. Like was driving to my mom's, and I saw two houses, and they went to my like, if they were popular, you would see them more in homes, and uh, I don't know how much it does. Like I said, I haven't really researched it that much, but yeah, I get calls all the time. People asking me about solar panels, and I'm just like, I don't know. No. I just tell them I don't own a home. Like, what? Do you own this house? Like, nah, man, I lost it. I rent to an apartment, and they just hang up on me.
Yeah, I agree with you on all those things. I do worry about is it going to ruin my roof? I worry about the resale value, like you said. If I ever decide to sell this house in the future, is it going to be difficult? Is the next homeowner? I mean, you've purchased a few homes. If you see solar panels, is that like a no-go? You're just like, I don't even want to see this house?
To me, it's a niche product. I'm not saying they don't work. I think they do work. I just don't know the setup that you have to have in your house. I don't know if you need like an inverter, batteries, and all this.
Hmm.
You do need that, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's more electrical stuff, and then yeah, it's. I know that might make people feel weird because you need like a back. When I did look at like off-grid stuff, and I saw people putting solar panels in the wind turbine, like mini ones, and I saw this row of batteries. I saw inverters, and I'm just an inverter and this bank of batteries, all the wiring, the thick gauge cables. I'm like, that's a lot to me. That looked like a lot of maintenance you got to keep on, and then batteries. I'm guessing those batteries ain't cheap. If they crap out on you, I don't know the lifespan on those type of
Right.
batteries. To me, it's
Mhm.
just like there's a lot of maintenance and work, but and then like also how much power you're actually gonna get from that. How much can you run on that? The more are how TVs and refrigerators and freezers and washers and dryers, air fryers, microwaves, they take up a lot of juice. I mean that. So if you want something equivalent, you need a lot of batteries.
No, for sure. All the stuff you're bringing up are things that I worry about as well. Um, do you know anybody personally that owns solar panels on their house? Nobody in your circle
No.
anywhere? No?
You would
How,
be the first one if you get them then.
how about you, Noel? Do you know anybody or have any thoughts on solar panels?
I even looked into it a little bit myself, just a little bit, just to kind of see what's out there. Especially we would get like offers all the time, like they would set it up for free, and there was like a program in Illinois and all that.
Right.
But then I think what they were trying to do is switch us from our typical electricity to just that. And living in, Illinois, especially Chicagoland area, we get like some pretty brutal winters sometimes. I don't know how it would work for that.
It's
And
rough
then
in the winter. Yeah.
yeah, the storms that we'll get, and then you have to have the right like roof and layout for the sun to hit it the right way, and it's just not everybody's going to be the ideal candidate for that. So there's just too many barriers to entry, I think. Maybe at some point down the line the technology will get better, but for right now, I think I'm going to wait.
Yeah, I think you guys are in the same mindset as me. I think as technology progresses, maybe these batteries will become more efficient and last longer and won't go dead on me in a few years.
I, the battery technology, that's been the big issue, and it's been going on
Right,
for. I remember hearing about this like 15 years ago. The batteries are going to get better, and they've gotten better, but it's still the same issue. They have short lifespans, and
right,
they're as they get better, they get more expensive. So,
for
and then the
sure.
other thing, the winter. So, how do they handle in the winter?
Right. I think those are the big nut to crack is the battery efficiency. And once they crack that, I think the popularity will take off because I think there are a lot of benefits to it. But yeah, unfortunately, I think we'll probably have to hold off another year or two and see if the tech gets any better. But guys, let's jump over to Noel here. It looks like you watched Creeper. Is this an older movie? This sounds like an older 1990s movie. I'm not really sure.
No, so this one's it's Keeper. It came out in
Oh, sorry.
2025. Yeah, no, it's all good, man. This one actually, it's a quick review here because it's I didn't like it that much, honestly. I went in with some higher expectations, and I think that going back to like another episode we were talking about expectations. I think whenever we go into something with high expectations, it's hard to live up to that, and this one did not live up to it at all. I give it a 5 out of 10, and
Wow.
it it was promising because it had some actors that I thought, would be able to pull it off. One of the actors, Tatiana Maslany, she was the She-Hulk, and she did pretty well for her part in it, but the story itself was kind of lacking. So really quick, its summary here, it says, a romantic anniversary trip to a secluded cabin turns sinister when a dark presence reveals itself, forcing the couple to confront the property's haunting past. So the plot twist is kind of predictable. You're probably like maybe 30 minutes in and you're already kind of getting like some red flags, and you're just, you already kind of know like, all right, I think this is this kind of thing. It's you know, man is bad and woman's gonna have to fight him.
Oh,
And
dang.
so yeah, and they do put in some like supernatural element to it. It is considered folk horror, body horror, monster horror. So there are and psychological horror. So there is moments where it all blends together, but the very end of it, and this is only like an hour and a half movie, the very end of it just left me just like not even really caring. Like it didn't have any kind of impact. It's just like an isolated story you watch for an hour and a half and then you move on with your life. There's no like, let me think about this deeper. What does this mean? What does that mean? It's just there are questions, right? There's questions that are unanswered, but I don't even care to find out the answer. Like I just, it's all right. I'm just gonna move on. But I just wanted to kind of throw it out there, let you guys know about this. Maybe save somebody from, spending money on it. I'm not gonna pick this up physically. I did watch it online, and it was, not the worst movie I've seen. I don't want to like bash it terribly. The cinematography is great. The acting was pretty decent. It's just the story was kind of like it didn't really draw you in. It has moments where it does, but for the most part, it's trying to get you to feel this like isolation, this dread. And there's just movies that do it better. There's so many other options. But yeah, so that's it. Moving on to another thing here. Nocturnal. I beat this indie game that I bought for like $3. Actually, I think it's on sale right now for 3.39 on Steam. And most PCs can run this. This is like not a heavy, intense game. It's it literally says here, carve your way with fire and steel to find out what secrets lie beyond the mist. In this intense 2 hour long action platformer game, get ready to wield the flames and burn everything. And it's pretty straightforward. Like it's not a crazy story. There is like a minor story to it, and it's concludes within 2 hours. So it's kind of like it's like a movie length, right? And it's an indie game, side scroll, so it's like reminiscent of like Super Nintendo days, but the graphics are upgraded to modern style, and it's got some cool like art style to it. I could see some people thinking it's more like a mobile game because it does have like these pretty basic controls, but you do get your combat evolved throughout the game. So there'll be like some skills that you can get. You can start throwing daggers, you use a katana, and essentially you're going through this like village, and you're trying to like find your sibling and trying to just save the village because it's being overrun by this like dark mist, this like dark entity that lives within this mist. So at all times you have to be within the light, and so you are constantly recharging your sword. Your sword can get like this like flame effect, and you recharge it by hitting these lanterns that like are like, on fire. So like these like flame torches. You hit the torch, your sword goes on fire, and you walk through this darkness. And there's other torches that are not lit that you light up with your sword, and you constantly just it's like a platformer. So think like similar to maybe Mario or like Metroid, stuff like that, Castlevania-esque. And that's one of the reasons why I got it. I thought it was like just one of those cool side-scrolling action games. Very linear. It's not like you're doing a lot of exploration, although there are areas you can go into to explore a little bit. Most of it is just kind of like linear progression through the story.
It
And
looks pretty cool. I just googled it. Graphics look okay. I mean, it looks kind of like 8-bit older style, but modernized. And I don't know. Is it two players or I see there's like two characters almost on every screen here that I'm seeing on screen captures.
so those will probably be the enemies.
Okay.
But you play as one singular character, and then it's just a single player game. But I mean, it's really cool, man. I had fun with it. I played on the Steam Deck, so it ran really good on there. So I think most computers can probably run this. It might be available on console, but I'm not entirely sure. It's got an 8 to 1 on Metacritic, and I would say, yeah, I would give it close to that. It's not a perfect game or anything. It's just like a 2 hour, kind of fun thing to do after work or whatever, or on a weekend. Um, yeah, I'd give it like a 7.5 out of 10. I think it's worth picking up, especially for less than $4, definitely worth picking up and trying out.
Yeah, it looks kind of cool. Might put it on my wish list and see. Right now, it looks like it's $20 on PlayStation. So maybe once the price drops, this might be something to check out.
Yeah, for sure. And then another game that I finally beat Resident Evil 9 Requiem.
Yes.
So yeah, man, I've been looking forward to this for quite some time, especially now that I have this new computer. So the last game, Village, actually the last like three games that have come out, no, last four, sorry. Um, I kind of waited to play them because my PC wasn't up to par. I had gotten the Resident Evil 2, 3 remake, 4 remake, Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 8, and I had waited a long time to play these because I would play them in 1440p on my old computer, and I was like, man, for number 8, I really want to play it like high end 4K and everything. So when I got this new computer, that was like one of the first games I played. And after I beat 8, I was like itching for the next one. And so when I heard 9 was coming out, I was super excited, dude. It was only like a year away because I built this just, I don't know, maybe a year ago at this point now. It's been a minute, but not too long. So, yeah, this game came out just recently. It's very fresh. It's one of the game of the year contenders of this year, and a
Hmm.
lot of people like it. It's got a 10 out of 10 on Steam, 4.9 out of 5 on PlayStation, and it's just doing great, man. I think it sold over 5 million copies within days, like within the first 3 days.
Damn.
And this one brings back Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil 2 and 4 and 6. And it has a new character called Grace Ashcroft. She plays the daughter of a character from Resident Evil Outbreak, I believe. Now, I didn't really beat Outbreak, but I know of it and I played it before, but I never beat it, so I don't know the full lore and story behind Alyssa Ashcroft, who plays Grace's mother. But from the story that you get in Resident Evil 9, it does go a little bit into who she is and her role within the story. So you get enough of it. If you played the game or not, you'll still understand what's going on. And for anyone that's played Resident Evil and knows the story, this is a continuation after, well after Resident Evil 2, well after Resident Evil 4, and well after Resident Evil 6. But it's in the same universe as all that, so it's still continuing its story of that. And so Leon is returning to, eventually returning to Raccoon City. And so it's really cool if you've beaten Resident Evil 2 and 3, being able to return to the RPD, the police station in Raccoon City. Very nostalgic, very cool. You get to fight some enemies that are very nostalgic as well. And the story itself, I would say it's very good. There's some elements that could have been done a little better, maybe a little bit deeper, like expand a little more on it. There's some questions that people have that are not necessarily answered, but possibly in Resident Evil 10 or maybe in the DLC they'll answer those. There's a new character similar to Wesker, but for anyone that's plays Resident Evil, Wesker dies in one of the previous games, and it's a pretty final death. Like he kind of like just disintegrates into lava, So,
What?
yeah. So there's really no coming back that I see, but there are clones in the Resident Evil, saga. So I'm not going to spoil anything. I think it's worth playing for sure. Anyone that loves Resident Evil is going to love this game. You have the option of first person or third person. They recommend first person for Grace to get you more immersed and just you get more fear out of it. So you feel more locked in and you get every noise and every thing that you see, you just feel it more. And in the action elements for Leon, it recommends to play in third person, and you definitely get more of that action feel with his stuff. There's a good balance between the two. I would say you play more as Leon than you do as Grace, but the moments where you play as Grace are very fun. So going into this, I was actually very hesitant. I was a little bit nervous as to how it would be, and I was like, I wanted it to be good, but I was nervous that Grace would like being a new character and just the way that they were going. And I was like, are they gonna just replace Leon with her? And like, what's gonna happen with Leon and all that? What happened to Claire? So anyway, Grace is definitely worthy of being part of the franchise. I'm excited to see what happens in the future with this, and I'm trying to avoid spoilers here because, um, well, I will say is this: there are two options to how the story will proceed. So there's gonna be two endings. You get to make a choice at the very end of it. You get to make a choice, and either you choose one option and the game continues this option, or you choose the other one, and you'll see. Um, but at the end of it, I really enjoyed it. I think I'll probably play again. Maybe a harder difficulty. I did unlock some stuff, and there's a DLC coming out, so I'm excited for that. But yeah, I'll put it over to you guys. What do you guys think about Resident Evil?
Man, I'm super excited for this game. When I saw it previewed, and then when they showed the old school Raccoon police department, it all seemed really cool. Really excited about it. Like you mentioned, I heard the ladies' portion of the fighting is more old school, horror centric, slow, maniacal kind of pacing, and then the Leon is more action, gunplay, stuff like that. So it seemed like they were splitting it up into two different ones. So it sounds really, really exciting. I heard it's more on the shorter end, more like a you can beat it in a few hours kind of game if you really like run through it. So that sounds kind of cool. Like if you want to do multiple playthroughs, especially if there's branching paths where your decisions make a certain outcome. So sounds very interesting. I hear everybody really enjoyed it. It sounds like you enjoyed it, so it just makes me more hyped. Maybe this Black Friday when those sales hit, might have to pick this one up.
For sure, bro. Or we'll see, man. Maybe if you're good this year for your birthday, we'll see what happens.
Nice.
But yeah, it is a shorter game, but also in line with the other ones. So like Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, those are, relatively short games, maybe like 12 hours or so. I
Right.
would say for the average person, it's going to be about 12 hours, maybe even a little longer. I played, I think personally, around 15, maybe a little bit more, but I was exploring everything. I really wanted to get my money's worth. So I think it depends on what kind of player you are. Some people just want to get through the story and that's all. They don't want to like look at every door, look at every cabinet. I wanted to explore every inch of the whole place because it was just so cool, man. And there's a lot of like good, just immersive environments. And I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not going to say the environments, but there's like you get to explore a lot of different areas, and so it's really cool and little dark atmosphere. You really get immersed, man. So definitely, I think for you, it'd probably be like around a 12-hour game. But speedrunners have gotten it down to in like sub 2 hours.
Right.
so so yeah, you can't speedrun the crap out of it if you wanted. But I think for those that pay the money for it, get your money's worth, man. Explore.
Yeah, 100%. That's the way I like to play them. I like to explore every piece, try to find every optional package that they have, all the weapons. So I'm definitely with you.
Yeah, yeah. I think if you do explore, you get rewarded. You get your ammo, your heals. It's really good with that, and there's a bunch of different difficulties. So I would recommend to you, if you want more story, do the modern one. I think it's a normal modern or standard modern. But if you want a little bit of a challenge, do the standard classic, and that's more like the original RE123 difficulties. So. Yeah, and one last thing, I'll just wrap it up with this for the update of the week. I finally got through reading this 5-issue comic book series based on Event Horizon. It's called Event Horizon Dark Descent. It started publishing last year, 2025, finished off this year, like about a month or so ago. It's published by IDW Publishing, and essentially it's a 5-issue miniseries that details the events prior to the movie. So Event
So it's a
Horizon,
movie. It's based off the movie.
yeah, dude. So the movie, you guys have seen the movie, right? Event Horizon?
Is that the one with Ice Cube? No, it's Mission
No,
to Mars.
that's
This is
Lawrence Fishburne's in this one.
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Close enough. Boys in the Hood reference. But yeah, okay. I remember. I haven't seen it in forever, but I do remember the movie name, and that's why when you said that, like, is this based off the movie? Like, are they continuing or prequel? Like, my instinct was like, it's a prequel.
Yeah,
So it sounds like.
it's definitely a prequel. So you've seen the movie, right, Daniel?
Yeah, yeah, I've seen parts of it. I don't think I've seen it in a long time since it
Yeah.
probably originally came out.
Well, if you ever want, you can log into my digital account. I have it, like the official licensed digital version. You could always watch it there if you want. On Fandango, I want to say. So
Ooh, nice.
definitely recommend watching it again. It's a great movie, dude. I love that movie. But yeah, so just really quick to just kind of recap this. So since you guys have already seen it, it's not really going to spoil it, but at the events of the first one, the movie, the spaceship that is supposed to be able to like travel faster than light, it kind of creates an artificial black hole, and you could travel anywhere in the universe like super quick. They test out that, project, that science technology, and something happens terribly, like goes wrong horribly, and then it's discovered many years later, and they finally find that it's just in the middle of nowhere, like near Neptune. And so Lawrence Fishburne and his crew, they are contracted by Sam Weir, um, who is the guy from Jurassic Park. Forgot his name. In the Mouth of Madness, Jurassic Park. It's been a bunch of stuff, and so he contracts this crew to go and salvage whatever's left of the spaceship that has the technology. And so they go out there and they explore and they try to figure out what happened, and it turns out like all hell broke loose, and it's like a super dark crazy movie. And at the end of it turns out that, yeah, like the ship it teleported to like another dimension, and it's like a chaos realm, like a realm of like hellish just torment. And I heard it ties into Hellraiser, so it's similar to that, where it's like very graphic, like body horror, just things getting torn apart, just chaos and blood and gore. And so this 5-issue miniseries is telling you what happened before the movie, like how they went through the whole project, how they did the countdown, how they launched, and then what happened after that. And so it's pretty graphic. The comic book is pretty cool. You get an idea of what they were going into, and it gives a little backstory to some of the characters. And overall, I really enjoyed it. I think it's definitely worth reading. 5-issue miniseries, pretty quick to read. I think I read it in like less than an hour, and very interesting, very cool. So I recommend it for you guys. I think it's pretty cheap. I got the like limited edition version, so those were a little bit more pricey. But I think if you buy them like just a comic book shop, whatever, a couple dollars here and there.
Cool. So you read it physically and paperback?
Yes, it is available digitally though too. I think Ismail bought it digitally and physically.
Oh, very cool.
But yeah, so Andy, if you ever get a chance, man, definitely watch the movie. And I know do you still read comic books?
Oh, it's been a while, man, but yeah, I mean, every once in a while, when I go thrifting, I find some trade paperbacks. I got a couple and I check them out, but
Yeah, no, that's cool, man. I've been definitely trying to get back into reading more, and I do have a few comic books that I
back,
haven't read
so
yet.
you know.
Oh, sorry, dude. I think you cut off and I started talking. What
No,
happened
yeah, I
there?
mean, just I got a bunch of trade paperbacks. I can't really finish the completion because life intervenes. But yeah, once in a while, I do. If I got some time, I'll read some stuff that I got here in my collection.
For sure. What about you, Dan? You still read comics?
On occasion, I still read. I was at the dollar store maybe a couple months ago, and I saw that they sell comics there, and I ended up picking up this Superman Lex Luthor one. So yeah, every now and then I pick up one here and there, but yeah, my comics right now are just sitting in my garage. Not collecting dust because I got them all in baggies, but hopefully going up in value.
I think they are, man, for sure. I I've seen actually there's a Hellraiser comic book like a collector's edition coming out, and they're doing like a Kickstarter, and there's like different versions or whatever. One of the comics I found like just a miscellaneous comic in my collection, and it's one of the Hellraiser ones. But it's definitely gone up in value. The collector's edition is worth like, I don't know, two, three, 400 bucks. So like the initial comic that I found, I'm like, I wonder how much this is worth just by itself. It's definitely going up though.
Very cool. Yeah, I didn't know that Event Horizon was linked to Hellraiser.
Actually, yeah, the last thing I'll say about that is, and then I'll pass it over here to Andy. So the main evil entity behind Event Horizon is Paimon. And I don't know if you guys know or heard the name Paimon before. It's referenced throughout multiple different horror like books and movies and all sorts of stuff. It's a spirit named in various grimoires, prominently featured in the Lesser Key of Solomon and other early grimoires and demonological texts mention the name. And so, yeah, it's like a high level like king of chaos demon thing. And so that's what was behind Event Horizon, likely behind Hellraiser and all that stuff.
Oh, cool. Yeah, yeah. I'm a fan of Hellraiser, but not too much. But it's just interesting how these movies interweave and connect themselves.
Yeah, no, definitely. But if you guys ever get a chance, definitely recommend to read that and watch the movie too. But let's move it over here to Andy to catch up on the week in here. And unfortunately, I heard the news, man. Chuck Norris passed away. What are your thoughts on it, man?
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Gen Xer, uh, you knew who Chuck Norris was. He was a legend, a patriot, great American, martial artist, movie star, TV star. He had a cartoon. He did everything, man. And you know, it's I sometimes you forget, all the memes about him. Like you forget, like he was up there in age. He was in his late 80s. He passed away this week, when we're recording this. And I was introduced to Chuck Norris by my dad because he was renting his videos. We go to the local rental store. We rent. I think the first movie I distinctly remember him renting. Where I think where I noticed the most was Code of Silence, and my dad would make this joke. Chuck Norris be kicking ass, and the movie was filmed in Chicago, and my dad would be like, "Oh, I know where that's at." He would say this like, "Oh, I know where that's at." In the movie, while Chuck Norris is kicking ass, and I always wondered like, "I wonder if Dad really knows where that's at." So, and then the other movie I distinctly remember him renting over and over was Missing in Action and Missing in Action 2. And I got those on Blu-ray now. I bought them on Blu-ray last summer, and I remember watching. It was a triple movie set. It was Missing in Action into in Delta Force on great 1080p, great movies made by Canon Films. Um, Canon Films, if you're from the 80s, you're Gen Xer, those movies were it got straight to action and killing and stuff like that. But Chuck Norris was on that, and then I think a lot of millennials, maybe older millennials, know him from a Walker Texas Ranger.
Hmm.
My dad would watch that show and come home and be drinking. That show was on, and he would watch it because it was on before Raw and USA on reruns, like 5 days a week, if I remember. And he'd just be
Yeah.
watching and then just roll into wrestling. And then the best part about that show, there was a lot of wrestlers that were in episodes. Hulk
Hmm.
Hogan, Macho Man, Sting. The list just goes on and on. Just what I can think of. I remember my dad telling me, "Oh, Hogan's in the show," and I'm like, he's like with Chuck Norris kicking ass. I'm like, what? And then we would watch that, and then later he had like fitness machines and all this stuff. I mean, he was a veteran. I mean, this guy did everything. And I think today, then the memes took over with the internet era, and everywhere you read about, everybody talks about the memes. So, yeah, just as you get older, and you hear about people passing away that you watched as a kid, it sucks. Um, Do you guys have any thoughts or any things with? I'm imagining your dad probably loved, Chuck Norris too, and rented his movies with you guys. I mean, you remember watching movies with them or just watching them by yourself?
Yeah,
Yeah.
to me, I think a lot of those 80s stars are real nostalgia for me because, like you said, Andy, my dad being an immigrant, not knowing much English, you could understand an action movie. You could
Hmm.
understand Charles Bronson kicking ass, Chuck Norris the same here. So, yeah, it was always a character that I saw in the movies that my parents would gravitate to, not knowing English too well, that you would understand what's going on. And yeah, Uh, Definitely became a fan of his through all his movies that my parents watched, as well as even the kung fu movies with Bruce Lee. So a
Yeah.
lot of cool stuff that he participated in that. Didn't really get into the Texas Ranger stuff, but I know there's a lot of Latinos that really enjoyed it because, again, it was simple storytelling that you could follow along, not knowing the language very well. But I heard those are some of some good TV show watching. I should probably watch them just to get some kind of perspective on it. But yeah, Chuck Norris was definitely uh, a good American role model for a lot of people. I never really heard a bad thing about him.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it seems like you hear something about everybody, but hopefully nothing comes out of the woodworks now that he passed away. But you always heard him in high esteem from everybody.
Definitely, man. I agree. And yeah, I think I first saw him in Way of the Dragon with Bruce Lee
Yeah.
and that iconic fight and all that. And so that's how I remember him. And also Walker Texas Ranger. A couple of the movies that you mentioned, I think Delta Force was the one that I remember watching as a kid.
Delta Force is awesome.
I
He has a
just remember.
motorcycle that shoots missiles from behind and forward, guns, and he's like killing like terrorists. It's like I rewatched it last summer. I'm just like I forgot how good this movie is. And then there's a lot of great actors in it. Lee Marvin, the Kennedy guy from Naked Gun, and Cool Hand Luke. It's just I know it's an 80s flick, and like you said, Dan said it's good guys versus bad guys, and you knew what was gonna happen. But I mean, rewatching, I haven't watched it like maybe in 15 years. It was actually for action popcorn film. It's a good, really great movie.
Yeah, and Chuck Norris, man, he's just he'll be immortalized, I think. It's one of those people who impacted so many different areas, martial arts and movies and just pop culture in general. The guy was
Yeah.
like Captain America, dude, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, like all this stuff's coming out now that he passed away. Now, I didn't know this. I read this on Twitter. I don't know how accurate it is. Supposedly his full name is Carlos Reyes Norris, and he was working somewhere, and he said all the Latinos just called him Chuck, so he changed his name to Chuck Norris, and I don't know how true that is. So I wonder if he has some what his heritage is or something like that. But yeah, that was one thing, and then all this stuff about he was a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He was a kickboxer. He's a karate champion. And a lot of people came out said that he ain't not that Hollywood thing. This guy's a real deal when it comes to and he was kicking ass, man, and it looked real. And then people were posting comments that what Bruce Lee said about him, and how it would present a challenge for him to fight in real life. So, like Danny said, like nothing came out bad things about him, so that's a good thing. He was a believer in faith. He was a Christian, and he's gonna be missed. And like you said, he's gonna be immortalized. Uh, and yeah, just another day this year for celebrities and movie stars, and it's been rough for 2026. It's been rough, and we're only barely in the first quarter of the year. So we'll see. But yeah, Chuck Norris, man, like I said, Missing in Action, Delta Force, Invasion USA, Sidekicks. A lot of people came out loving Sidekicks, dude. I forgot. Did that movie with that kid and Joe Piscopo. And then, he did. I think the last movie I saw him was Expendables, and I remember watching him. I'm like, holy shit, it's Chuck Norris. And people. I think he was in there for like a couple 5 minutes at most, and then yeah, I mean, he's a great American movie star, and he's gonna be missed. And let's see down the road, not the people trying to cancel him after his death.
All right.
The only other thing I want to bring up is Trump had a press conference with the Japan Prime Minister. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see that. I just couldn't believe what he said, and I'm just like, part of me is like, you get a break from me today, Trump, because these gas prices are fucking out of control. But a Japanese reporter was asking him how come he didn't inform his allies about the bombings in Iran, and I think Trump's response was just he had to be like just classic, right? Like, we want to keep it a surprise because, we want to succeed, we want to win this, and who better knows more about surprises than Japan on, with Pearl Harbor. And you could see the face of the Japanese prime minister that was sitting next to him, just like, holy shit, like I can't believe he just said that. And then what best part is some of the reporters just chuckled, and people were just like, and like always on social media, just I can't believe he said it. Some people think it's a good response, and then I think it was just unreal. To me it was funny. I don't know. But I was wondering, like, if what would happen if it was on the other shoe? Trump. Somebody said, like, where the U.S. did this, how would an American president respond to a negative comment about the U.S.? But to me, it was just hilarious. I don't. Did you guys happen to see some of that conversation and that news conference?
I think it just goes to show you, which is unfortunate, how much the U.S. is the sole proprietor of this war, where, like the reporter asked him, how come you didn't tell your allies, and then between your allies decide, hey, let's do this, and you just took it upon yourself to do it. I do understand the part of secrecy so that you could get the element of surprise on your enemy. But at the same time, if you're a coalition with a few other organizations or countries, you need to discuss it with them and not just do your own thing, because then you're the face of the war. And I think that's a bad move. I don't think the U.S. should be the face of this war. I think we should be allies to our allies and help them out, but we should just be an aid and not the first face that you see.
Yeah, I mean, valid points. I think if you're talking about NATO, there's been a lot of issues with that recently. And I think when Trump's first term, there was issues with that about payment, and then with when Biden was in there with Ukraine, how the U.S. just gave him a ton of money and weapons, and a lot of the European people were just like just giving money, the countries, stuff like that, and they really wanted to do more. And I think the U.S. even Biden was kind of hesitant to do some of that, and now that Trump's in there, they're they're all just like they're giving it kind of back to the U.S. To me, I think with NATO, if someone like Trump-esque, maybe the guy after him is somebody. I think NATO, as we see it, it is gonna. I don't think the U.S. is gonna be a part of it. Maybe in the next 15, 20 years, the way everything is going with Europe, because Europeans are used to just telling the U.S. about certain things, and U.S. kind of like negotiate. I think uh, a lot of the Pentagon and some of the higher ups are getting kind of tired of that, and I think Trump brought a lot of that to light. And I mean, I think the only really great ally the U.S. has ever had is Britain. But even Britain, with this thing going on right now, they've been kind of like cherry picking on how to comment and stuff, but they're actually saying no. So we'll see. But regarding the comment, Dan, did you think that was funny, or you think that was inappropriate? About
I
who knows better about secrets than Japan and Pearl Harbor?
I mean, it's typical stuff for Trump. I mean, he's not a
Not very
politician.
political. Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
he's not a politician. It it could be something that everybody was thinking, but it's not something that you say. I go into meetings sometimes at work and I want to say something, but if you're in front of management, you have to know how to speak and you have to know what things to say and what things not to say. And Trump does not have that filter.
He's the stereotype of the loud American, right? So, what do you think, Noel?
I agree, man. He's just he's great at talking in terms of like if you were like a promoter or in entertainment, but not so much for like the political side of it, I don't think. Um, yeah, it is what it is, man. And the thing is too is like let's say if Japan were to comment something like, "Well,
Yeah.
America knows about bombs" or something, yeah, what can you say? I mean, he's kind of telling the truth that Japan knows about secrets, and if Japan were to say, "Well, America knows about Hiroshima, Nagasaki," it's like, yeah, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this: Japan, I think, is one of America's uh, better allies in the late 20th century till now. After the war, uh, I mean, Trump got them to. I don't want to say like not that he scolded them, but he told them, "You guys got to do more." Or to the point where I mean, they were able to change some because they're in the Constitution after the war. They wrote that their army, their national defense is only for defense. Like they're not going to be in other wars. And I think Bush and the original Iraq War or the second one. Uh, he got them to send people to help. It was like medical doctors from the army. And now with Korea and China, they actually changed it where they're going to build up some of their navy and they're going to do some more stuff. And it was this big debate in Japan a couple of years ago, towards the end of Trump's first term, I believe, and towards the end of Biden, where they changed some of their laws so they could recruit more and have more active members of the military and stuff like that. So the times are changing, and it is gonna see where it's going. But Japan, I think they have a pretty thick skin. They're going through their own national thing where they're like, we don't want immigrants because they're not changing. They're not adapting to Japanese culture, which is a lot of that's going on in certain countries in Europe. But with that being said, man, we got to wrap it up. I want to thank you guys for listening. Uh, you know, you could follow us on Facebook and Twitter on the Freeform Network. Send your questions and suggestions to ffnquestions@gmail.com. Don't forget to visit our webpage at freeformnetwork.podbean.com. You can see our legacy episodes there, our links to other platforms, Stitcher, YouTube, Spotify, all of them are on there. And then, however you listen to us, like, subscribe, comment, that helps us out enormously. So for Freeform Radio, we got Danny.
Yes, sir, man. Getting a little hungry. Made some killer enchiladas yesterday. I think I might heat some of those bad boys up.
And we got Noel.
Hey everybody, thank you for joining us for another one, and probably gonna get a quick workout in, throw a little bit of a boxing session, Niner for Chuck, and then probably watch Delta Force.
Nice.
And it's all good, Andy. I want to thank you guys for listening, and we'll, hit us up on FFN Questions on the Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X. I like to talk to you guys, and then we'll catch you all next time, and you guys have a good week.
That was cool, Dad.